Hello, everybody, and welcome to Key Essentials. Today, we're doing an interview with a very, very renowned, awesome drummer. He has his album out as well, and we had to do an interview with Riley Joseph Giandari. Riley, welcome. It's so good to have you.
Hey, Mikey. Thanks for having me in this virtual online interview.
Cool, Riley. Riley, firstly, what got you into music?
Hey, Mikey, it was hard for me to ignore it because, my dad's a drummer, right? So we used to always hear drums around the house, or, music was always in our household. So
yeah, that's
what got me interested in it. And, I used to follow my dad to church. I used to watch him play the drums at church. And that's how I basically learned the drum kit. And, ever since then, I was always glued to the band, wherever. If there was a band, I was glued to it. That's me.
Would you say that you kind of picked it up on your own and that your dad taught you, mentored you, or what was the process there?
Okay, basically, I think it was more by observation. I learned through observation. I think just watching my dad play the drums, it hooked me on for a while. I remember every time he would play at drums, I would be on the side. I would be air drumming to what he's doing. And I'll try and figure it out, the pick goes here, you know how it is, how drummers do the air drumming thing. Yeah.
Basically, he was inspired by that, and it's something which was just within you. You just needed to get it out.
That's it.
And express yourself.
That's it.
So I would presume that your dad was the first person to inspire you to make music?
Yes, definitely. He was the first one. He was my main inspiration. Because the first person I saw playing music was my dad. So yeah, he was the main one.
To those who are wondering who Riley's dad is, Riley's dad's name is Praveen Giandari. And Praveen Giandari is a phenomenal and one of the finest drummers around. And I had the privilege of playing with Riley's dad, music, as well as with Riley. Such an honor to be interviewing Riley. How would you describe the music that you create?
That's a hard question, huh? But if I could say, I listen to all styles of music. Mm-hmm. So it's just not jazz or it's just not gospel music. I love listening to many styles. That's me, right? Secondly, the music I create, most of it is through experimentation. You just experiment with moving chords here, changing the chord quality. So it's just through experimentation. It's very rare that I would hear a melody. And, sometimes it happens that way. But, I'm a drummer and rhythm is the main source. So experimenting with rhythm, that's it. For me, experimentation with rhythm. And, it's all intertwined, rhythm, melody, and harmony. So, I just mess around.
More about getting those progressions coming in and working around that, basically.
That's it. And if it feels good, then I like it.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Yeah. And I know in most cases they say, a drummer is not a musician. So is that why you got?
I've heard that one before.
So is that why you got into playing keys?
Not really. I just like harmony. I like chords. I was inspired by you, first of all. Playing in No Limit and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I heard all those chords, and from then I used to always look out for those minor 11s.
Okay. Thanks, Riley. Who would you most like to collaborate with?
That list changes all the time.
Yeah.
I'd say Chick Corea, first of all. Chick Corea is... I'd love to at least do one gig or recording with Chick Corea. Mm-hmm. That would be a blessing. The second person... whoever it is. I get inspired by a lot of musicians. So I'd collaborate with anyone. So I would do that. But Chick Corea, the second person would be John Patitucci on bass.
Mm-hmm.
I love his playing. Christian McBride on bass. I'd love to play with him one day. I'd love to do a duo with Antonio Sanchez, the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. If Tupac was alive, I'd like to collaborate with him. But Maybe it will happen if he is alive. Maybe he is alive. I don't know.
He's hiding, I believe.
You'll never know.
Undercover. Undercover.
Yeah. Oh, and Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny on guitar. I'd like to collaborate with him one day, if that's possible. COVID, I don't know whether COVID will still be here or what, but that's just putting a dampener on everything.
Wow, that's a great assortment of artists you have there, musicians you have there, Riley. And what I like of what you've said, that in spite of all these great artists, Chick Corea, all the other guys you've mentioned, you said that you'd collaborate with anyone. It's such a crucial thing as a human being, should I say, that we have a spirit of koinonia, we have a spirit of brotherhood, that we be able to collaborate, be able to network with different beings. What would be one message you would leave with your fans out there?
I would say always be honest, be hardworking, don't feel entitled to anything, because, you know, we're all living the same life. Although we may feel it's different, we're living the same life. And, you know, life is challenging. So I think the main thing is just be honest, be loyal, and treat everyone correctly with kindness. And, you know, treat everyone how you would want to be treated. And that's what makes everything better. And you'll find that everything you do will become more sustainable. You know, when you do stuff from the heart, when you do things from the heart, it becomes more sustainable. It's, in the long run, you'll see how it pays off.
Yeah.
You know,
that is sound advice, Riley. What is the most useless talent you have?
The most useless talent? What is it? I'll say singing, because I can't sing.
Okay.
I can't sing at all. You know.
What would you be doing right now if it wasn't for your music career?
Actually, I was supposed to study law and stuff. You know, that was my first choice, you know, when studying at university. But apparently I was on a waiting list, or I don't know what list, but I didn't get in, which I'm happy for that, because, you know, music has been so great. You know, it's something I love doing. So I think if I wasn't doing music, I would be in a courtroom somewhere, or I would have been dead, I think.
So if you said you wanted to do law and was on the waiting list, and it never happened, God's plans are bigger than our plans.
Yeah.
And thank God He's placed you in something that you really love to do, something you're passionate about, something who you are.
Yes,
you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, we can make our plans, but, you know, God knows. God has the final say. So we'll never really know.
Yes, that is so true. So true. Now, where have you performed? What are your favorite venues?
Okay, in Durban, right? I've played at the Chairman. The Chairman in Durban is the jazz lounge.
Yeah.
I love playing there. Other venues in Durban, you know how venues in Durban are. There's not many venues.
Yes.
So, but I think it all depends on who I'm playing with as well. The band has a big role to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if the band is great, and if you know, it's people you enjoy playing with, like wherever you play, you're gonna enjoy the gig anyway. So it's about the people and the relationships. So that's what I like.
Just last week, you've launched something online. You did a live virtual concert. Can you give us some information on that, and also to those who have missed it, to make mention of how they can find you on YouTube and get a chance to view that?
Sure. So basically, this concert was funded by Concerts SA, which is a South African-Norwegian initiative and collaboration in supporting artists. So I'm really appreciative, or I really appreciate the support that they've given artists. So they made it really easy for this concert to happen. It was an online concert, and you know, it was so weird playing to no one. It was just the sound crew, and it was just the band, the trio, playing to just the sound guys, you know. But we still had fun. We still tried to have fun, but we were missing the crowd connection. You know, there's the crowd response, and there's always this interaction. You know, the crowd feeds off the band feeds off the crowd, and there wasn't any of that. but it went well. It was just a trio. It was featuring Dalisu and Lazio on bass and Zibusiso Makatini on keyboards and myself on drums. I decided to go trio because of, trio playing is always clean, keyboards, bass, and drums. I've always been a fan of that.
Yeah.
So we played some of my compositions. Actually, all of them were my compositions from 2016 up to like very recent stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. We had one rehearsal. I'm a fan of just having one rehearsal and doing the gig. So we had one rehearsal. The gig turned out to be cool. And it's available on my YouTube channel. You can just type in Riley G on YouTube, and it's the last video that's been uploaded. So you'll find it there.
Okay, that's great. For our viewers there, please check this out. At the end of this interview, I will have a link for Riley's YouTube channel, so you can get to view all his stuff there. Please support this artist. Where are you from, Riley G?
From Queensborough, Durban.
All right.
South Africa.
He's from Durban, South Africa. So this is talent from Durban, South Africa, Queensborough. So how do you feel that the internet has impacted the music business?
With regards to musicians and artists releasing music, I would say it has impacted them in terms of income.
Yeah.
Because, streams are not really worth anything. One stream is not worth much.
Yes.
And to the artists who have been trying to make it, it is hard because now there's too much of music, I think. There's a lot of music. And, platforms like Apple Music and Spotify, you're going to have to get a lot of streams to actually make something. Whereas if you sell CDs, like hard copies, CDs or anything else, you can make something.
More beneficial. Mm-hmm.
Like right there and there. Right? So in that way, it has impacted artists. I won't say in a negative way because at the same time, artists are now visible online. The visibility factor has increased. So now everyone is more easy to find. Artists are easy to find. Someone can just look up an artist and they pop up and they're there. You can listen to their music. But how many people are actually going to support? And in this day and age, like not many people will really support artists. So it has its pros and cons.
That is so true. That is so true. And with everything being online, it's just that there need to be continual support. Musicians need to support each other. Listeners need to support our musicians. And it's all about the arts and craft. It's not that artists, musicians are exclusive. We all play a pivotal part in the economy. So
yes.
And what is your favorite song to perform?
Favorite song? There's quite a few, but I haven't really thought about that, I enjoy playing everything, like all the songs, whatever the groove is, I just enjoy it. I haven't really thought of,
Right, I know you're a great jazz drummer, and also other genres as well. What would you say is your, aside jazz, which other genre do you really love?
Gospel is my first love, and I think that's the most ultimate form of music. So gospel music is, I hope to really get into gospel music one day, when things calm down.
Yes.
And that's where I started. That's where I learned most of the music, playing gospel, playing in church. So, but I love playing funk music, funk fusion, R&B, pop, Latin, Afro beats. I love everything.
That's true. All these genres, they just have something beautiful about them and unique about them. What is the best advice you've been given?
Best advice. I'll come back to the honesty thing again. It's to always be honest, and to be humble. There's no end to music and there's no end to learning. I know I always say this, but there's no end to it. It just goes on and on. So we mustn't think like we've arrived at a certain place when there's so much more to learn. So I think that was the best advice I was given.
Okay, when you made mention that there's no end to music, that's also one of my favorite lines, common lines.
Oh, okay.
That's so true. There's no end to music. If you think you are the best, there's always someone better.
Yeah, that's it.
There's always
That's it.
someone better, and you can always learn from others, even though they may not
Yes,
be at the
exactly.
level where you at. You can always pick up something from them. They can always teach you
Exactly.
something. So once
That's
you
it.
think that you know it all, then unfortunately,
Yeah, you don't know anything. That's it. And
uh,
you know the thing is, Mikey, we also unique. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own flavor. So how can you compare them, or how can you compete when everyone is so different and has something to bring to the table?
that is
That's my thing.
yes. Our thumbprints differ. God has made us each so unique. He has graced us with our own giftings. So sometimes we want to be like others,
That's
where
it.
He wants us to develop and be ourselves, which is so important.
Right.
So,
It's very important.
if you could change anything about the industry, what would it be?
I would say that live music needs to be recognized more. So, if there's a way the government can create more opportunities for musicians who play live music, I won't necessarily say more venues because, well, we do need more music venues, but I think musicians should be respected a bit more. We are always sidelined with whatever it is, even being booked for events. Like musicians are always sidelined. Be very important, but people must show that they appreciate us. So
That is so true that every individual needs to be given their true worth. It does
yes,
take a lot as a musician to acquire your instruments, to take time out to master your craft, to practice,
right,
and all that is consuming. It needs to be rewarded
yes.
in the work that you do.
Very.
Let's talk about your album. How many tracks are on your album, Ali?
On my first album, there's 10 tracks,
That's called A Group for the Nation.
A Groove for the Nation, and it basically consists of compositions all the way from 2016. So I just put everything together, which I felt was different, but that had the same vibe, and I put it together on one album. And yeah, none of the songs are similar, so they all have their own flavor.
Great, and that is such a beautiful
So
album. If you love jazz, if you love
thank you, man.
funk, if you love hip hop, and as Radi have mentioned, there's different genres. All the songs are different. If you love all different styles of music, you're definitely gonna enjoy this album. Please check it out on iTunes, and we'll have the link below the video so you can check the album out. I believe you have a new album that's launching soon. Can you give us some insight on that?
As part of my master's, one of the tasks which I created, were to write music for band members, and the music turned out very different to what I thought it would, but I actually like it, and that will become an album. So it's in the process of being mixed and mastered now, and I hope to release that very soon. So on the album, I'm featuring Salim Washington on sax, Ethan Naidu on guitar, Sanele Pagati on piano, and Prince Bula on bass. And there's a special guest, Zoe Masuhu, on vocals, Zoe the Seed. So it's just the six of us.
So you got drums, you have bass, keys, we have sax, and we have vocals.
And guitar.
And guitar.
So yeah, that's six piece. Yeah.
Great. Viewers, just be on the lookout on Riley's YouTube channel as well as his Facebook page, and support him on the new album that will be released soon.
I just want to say, be safe, and don't take whatever's happening now lightly. Don't take it lightly. Rules, wear your mask, sanitize your hands, sanitize your hearts. Let's all work together, and hopefully we'll go back to normal again. Things need to get back to normal because it's been very depressing. It has been very depressing.
Okay, viewers, currently, if you're viewing this video, we are actually in the second wave of Corona in South Africa, and the numbers are increasing. We're just trusting God that all these numbers will diminish soon and everything will be back to normal. Your album, how has it been? Your experience with getting it on radio and stuff. It's so daunting knowing that as a musician, that if you do an album and you take it to a radio station, and some stations don't want to play your album, they want to be palmed. Palm doesn't mean a clap or 5 bob as we know it. Palm means that they want to be paid just to play your album on the radio station, and yet we have so many other music that are from overseas artists which are played here, which they do not are not pumped to do that, but yet the local musicians, they cannot celebrate them on air, they cannot play the music. What is your experience regarding similar situations?
I've submitted my music to a lot of radio stations and I haven't heard back from anyone. So I stopped trying because, I have heard stories where radio stations were paid for artists to get their music on. And, I'm not all about that. I don't do bribery. If I want something, it must be honest. And, it is frustrating when no one replies to you or, and, the music is good. It's not like the music is bad. It's fitting. A lot of our local artists, most of us have that problem. We're trying to get our music on radio to get airplay. And, I just stopped trying because things are not done freely anymore. There's too much of corruption. So I stopped trying. I'm just going to wait for something. I'm going to wait for a miracle to happen. But the process has been very frustrating. And
I hear you, Riley. And that's we are facing as musicians in South Africa. Most of the big radio stations, you cannot just get your stuff to be played there. You have to pay them to play it. And that's a sad scenario, but that's really what's going on. It's actually a pity that the local or the community radio stations would normally get to play your material and the other stations would just write you off. If there are any radio station managers listening or you're a radio presenter, yes, listen in and see how you can support local artists.
That's it. I must say, Mike, I have done interviews on radio, right? And every time I've done an interview, they have played one of my songs, right? Which I'm grateful for in terms of
getting it on their playlist.
In terms of getting your music playlisted, there's always the same artist that's being playlisted. There's so much of other music from our local guys that they can play. There's great music that's not being recognized, and that's a problem. That's a problem. I think it has a lot to do with the system in place, and it's bad. Very bad.
We as musicians, producers, all we ask is to be supported. We are also here to support you as well in your endeavors. So let's come around each other, celebrate each other. If you say, if music be the food of love, eat a banjo. Today we're so grateful that we've got time to spend with Riley Joseph Gendari, all the way from Queensborough, KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, South Africa. And Riley, thank you for your time. We really appreciate your time speaking to us, telling us about your background in music, where you are at the moment and your projects that you have. And we'd love to support you, network, collaborate, support this artist, everybody. And I'll have the links below the channel where you can support him. You can connect with him on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube.
Thank you, Mikey. Thanks for having me. And it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Riley, and all the best on your journey in music. And
thanks,
I look forward to hearing your stuff is always brilliant. Your drumming is brilliant. Your productions are fantastic. And I look forward to enjoying that in the near future. All the best.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Thanks.
God bless you.